Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves television judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Mattson.
Better read than dead.
Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
And we have a returning guest host, Dalton Bieber.
It will get better before it gets worse.
Never stop being funny. All right, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, bell notification buttons, all that fun stuff that helps us grow the podcast. We appreciate it. Tune in, do all that. We're pushing our TikTok with Alec here. The guy's a TikTok mastermind. So go check out our TikTok. What's Our Verdict? Dalton W. Bieber does a little TikTok on the side too. Not really.
It helps on TikTok if you're just crazy, like absolutely psychotic. It really helps your views go up for no apparent reason whatsoever.
As
he says as he brushes his stuffed dinosaur.
Do it for the views, JJ. You don't ask questions, you just do it.
I do a lot of shit for the views. So we are back with our next round of discussing Miss Marvel, episode 2.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to go in here before Alec gets to poo-poo on this show right now, because I'm not going to lie, gents. I'm having a great time with this show. I think it's funny. I think it's lighthearted. I think it's silly. And I have a great time watching it. Like, I just am enjoying it thoroughly. Like, there's nothing really that I look at that I go, oh, they're doing this very impressively. It's not like it's overly fantastic, impressive content, but it's just fun. Like, I leave these episodes, both of these episodes I've left going, I feel pretty good. This was entertaining, and it was fun and enjoyable, and it's different. Like, it's not something that you see a lot of, like just teenage life, having a good time. It's not like teenage depressing life. There's real issues that they talk about, but it's not like they overdo it and get all dark and weird with it. It's just fun and entertaining. So I'm having a great time, and that carried over in episode 2. I liked it.
I want to get Dalton's opinion now that you've seen the first 2. Like, what are your overall feelings? Is you like Marvel, but I'm curious, is this Marvel to you? Like, what are your thoughts?
For me, like the first episode, I thought it was like, I liked the visuals. I thought it was kind of clever. Like the stuff from her phone was like appearing behind her, like in the lights. I thought that was clever. This episode, it was kind of dragging for me, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if that's just because I watched Obi-Wan and then I had like 50 minutes of Miss Marvel. I'm like, oh, I just want to go to bed. But I think that was part of the problem. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I think it's just, I think that's the problem with a lot of these new Disney Plus shows, is like, or at least for Marvel, is because before we had like WandaVision, Loki, whereas like characters we already know and we're established with, where Moon Knight in this one is like the starts are like really slow because we have to set up the characters and the plot and all that. So
yeah,
I think that's part of the reasons why it's dragging. So hopefully as it goes on and without Obi-Wan in the mix, it'll go a lot smoother. But right now I just feel like it's kind of dragging, but hopefully I have huge hope that it's going to pick up.
I want to hear, Alec, your thoughts before I go, because you seem passionate.
So I've had to watch both these episodes in batches, like take a break, come back later, pick up where I left off, so I could pause and not get any spoilers from the podcast. But I mean, so I recognize I am nowhere near the target audience for this show. Like, if you put the target audience on a spectrum and put me on a spectrum, I'm on a whole different spectrum for the target audience of this show. And so I try and go in realizing that, and I still cannot get through the episodes. It drags, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What's doing this? And it could be that, we had like an action-packed Moon Knight, and we have action-packed Obi-Wan, and then with this show, there's like 45 minutes of world building, 30 seconds of action, and then 7.5 minutes of credits that pop up. So I just don't like it. I don't have a good reason for not liking it, other than I just don't like it.
Well, shout out to my other boy, Alec, that I work with. Alec's actually now my boss at work. Ironic that they share the same name. He's a huge movie buff, and I'm sure we'll get him on at some point. I was talking to him about Miss Marvel today, And his words were kind of like what it was for me. If I didn't know, as I said in our last episode, if I didn't know this was Marvel, I think I'd like really like the show. It's just, as JJ kind of described, it's fun, it's fresh. I leave myself being like, yeah, like I'm good. Like life's colorful. Like I'll go back to high school. Like I'll join a mosque. Like I didn't know there was all these different cliques within this community. Like I'm glad I don't live with my mom anymore. Like, all kinds of things this show makes me remember. But then when I get into the little bit of the superhero stuff, and I see her like, man, if there's some Gore the God Butcher or whatever, just would like pull her apart in like a millisecond, because this chick doesn't know her powers, and I shouldn't know she was playing around with it. And it was funny to see that montage. Made me think of Spider-Man. But I think I said it last episode too. Really reminds me a lot of just the whimsical nature of Spider-Man. And I don't mind it, but if they're going to turn her into like this amazing superhero, which I mean, again, that might not be the goal, and maybe she's not that powerful. I hope they don't go there, because man, it's not real believable at the moment. But for what it is, it's quite enjoyable, but I just don't know what I'm really supposed to treat this as. And I think it goes back to what Dalton talked about, is it just makes me question, like, what is Marvel becoming? Where is it going? And if these are just one-offs, like, why put all the time investment into these if they're not really driving home the future of what they want me to get excited about?
It's fair. Yeah, I mean, it is weird. I mean, it's a little weird, and it's interesting to watch her pick up her powers. I will say that I think, and shout out to some other content creators. Emergency Awesome is a great YouTube channel. If you haven't watched his stuff, he's got a lot of in-depth stuff. So, but I was watching one of his videos about just Miss Marvel in general, because I don't know a ton about Miss Marvel. She was never comics that I read a lot of. I only knew anything about her because she would be in other heroes comics sometimes, and so you learn a little bit about her. This bangle that she wears, the theory now is because of the tie-in to Captain Marvel, which, if you think about her story from her movie, she gets her powers from the Kree race, which is who picked her up and took her off planet. They basically used that ship or whatever, and it created her powers. Well, the Kree have an artifact called the Negabands, which are bracelets that they don't have like the carvings and things, are just gold bands, but they have similar powers to like Green Lantern's powers that allow you to use your mind to create things out of nothing. So very similar to what we see Miss Marvel having now with this her bangle that's giving her powers. So I think they're going to try to tie that, make this one of the Negabands, is my guess. She may get a hold of the second Negaband, in which case, if she gets the second, then her powers will get exponentially stronger, because that's how the Negabands worked in the comics anyway. And maybe you don't see that, but I don't know. But that does tie it indirectly to, if they use those as the Negabands, it ties it to the Kree, which then gives you that natural tie-in to Captain Marvel, which then leads us to the Marvels movie, which she's going to be part of with Captain Marvel, and the other character that I can
she better get more badass, because as of now, like, she's not. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I have not looked forward to the Marvels as a movie because I can't stand Captain Marvel. Like, I don't like this version of Captain Marvel. She annoys me. I don't enjoy watching her. It's just not good. But now I'm a little more intrigued by this movie that's coming up, because I like this character. This actress that plays her, she's funny. She's got heart. Like, I was laughing my ass off at the comparative from the first episode where she walks into high school like all down and like no, and the weird, like the sad kind of weird music's playing, and then she walks in this week because she's got powers, like all confident and like throwing things right, until she runs into Cameron, her crush, and then she's like, oh shit. But I loved that she was all confident and just like making friends and doing things like that. So it was really funny to me. Like, I just had a great time. So I really like her. And now I'm looking a little more forward to Miss Marvel because of this character. So I think that's a good thing. And I'm hoping that that's kind of what their thought process was, is if we can bring in an interesting character and save the Miss Marvel or the Captain Marvel franchise, or at least make it more tolerable and palatable than what it was. And I think we're on to something there, because it's not good, but she's great.
That's fair. Who are the bad guys in this?
Well, yeah. What were the people at the end? What's
Or
that all
the
about?
not the bad guys, but the authorities. Let's put it that way. Who are the authorities?
Oh, the cops? That's Damage Control. So they were in the most recent Spider-Man too. It's the same guy. He's the guy that was interrogating Peter Parker in No Way Home. So it's the same guy that was interrogating her friend or whatever. And so that's Damage Control. Damage Control in the comics is kind of they're a silly comic, because they're the team that's brought in. They're created by Tony Stark to clean up all the collateral damage from fights with superheroes. So they originally were going to have a TV show called Damage Control that they were planning on, that was going to be a comedy, but then they tied it into, and they brought them in. They initially introduced them in the first Marvel crossover Spider-Man, with the Vulture, the group that comes in and takes over the job site of cleaning up the Battle of New York. That was Damage Control. And then they brought them again into No Way Home, and now they've tied them into this as well. So that's the authorities. The two at the end with Cameron. Now, Cameron is in the comics, and he's also an Inhuman, and there is like a relationship there. I don't know how far it goes, because again, I haven't, but he's got a weird power where he can turn into almost like almost like a spirit looking full body. It's really weird powers. I don't know if he'll have those in this, because the Inhuman connection isn't there. However, based on the fact that they're tying her family to the Kree in a way, they may use that to give this. And obviously his mom has some tie to the Bengal. Maybe she's got the other one, or we don't know yet, but she's obviously going to be the villain. But his family, more than him in the comics, are villains.
He's got a cool car.
He does have a nice car.
I would not let her drive that cool car.
Hell no. Not even close.
That would be tense. When he was like, had his hand on the dash and was like joking with her, I'd be like, man, if that was me and it was that car, I'd have been like, I'm sorry, we are just stopping right here. Like,
yeah.
No.
Not gonna happen. No, I'm with you. I had no idea. I learned something from this. I told you guys this earlier. I learned something from this show. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big history buff. I'm not a big, and I've never really thought too much about that part of the world, but I had no idea what the partition was. The partition of India. I had no idea. So I learned, and I went and researched, and it's not a happy story. Like, it's an interesting thing, the partition. So I thought that was cool too, that I actually learned something when it came to how Pakistan and Bangladesh and India, how they were formed into what we have now. But
something that I appreciated but didn't understand really why they did was where they bring up that Pakistan isn't Middle East, it's South Asia. But they were talking, it was during the interrogation scene where they're interrogating like a high school sophomore.
yeah.
Right? And they're like, what was the accent? Was it Middle Eastern? Was it Indian? Was it South Asian? I was like, dude, I don't know a single 16-year-old who knows the difference between a South Asian accent and a Middle Eastern accent. And I know why they did it, right? Because Pakistan is not part of the Middle East, it's South Asia. But I was like, at some point, you know, you got to put in believable storytelling instead of just drawing the borders correctly on the map. Because that pulled me out. Because I was starting to get a little bit into it with this whole back and forth, and now we're seeing who the antagonist is. No, she's done her little power kind of trope around and starting to figure out what she's doing. And then I was like, oh, was her accent South Asian? It's like, dude, what high schooler knows where South Asia is on the map? Especially nowadays. They don't even know where like California is on the map.
I must have missed the accent part. I thought he was talking about her complexion, her look.
They were doing both. It was
Oh,
the
were
girl
they?
who was talking about the accent. She's like, was it a Middle Eastern accent? Was it an Indian accent? You know, where does the accent from? Because they were talking about things that you recognized.
Yeah.
Right. And I was
Yeah, I
like, oh.
missed the accent piece. Otherwise, I mean, that would have bothered me because I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, I'm not from the area, right?
Sure.
But I feel like it was the same thing as, you know, if you ask someone who's not from the area, and clearly this high school sophomore is not from South Asia or the Middle East.
Sure.
So if you took someone from, you know, the Middle East and said, hey, tell the difference between a Texas accent and an Alabama accent, and they're going to be kind of like, there's no difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, someone who's from kind of the area will be like, oh, no, there's a difference. There's a huge difference.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't think if we were interrogating someone from a different area, like, okay, was their accent Texas or was it Alabama or was it Ohio? Like,
I want to get into something more serious that made me laugh a lot. Towards the end when she's saving that little boy, and she's like, let's talk about something that you like or whatever. Tell me about like your favorite food. And he's like, I like ice cream on my pizza. And then she's like, well, how do you like eat that? Do you have like a bowl of pizza with ice cream? I was like, oh, like that just sounds horrible. Like, and then I thought of Alec when like right away they showed social media just like freaking out with and I was like, oh, Alec and TikTok would make something funny about that. And like, I'm not sure what combination of ice cream and pizza I would eat, but
I thought about this.
Of course,
Are you ready to have me be the most universally hated person on the internet? Ready for this, Mattson? Hawaiian pizza topped by Neapolitan ice cream.
Can you make a TikTok of you eating that for what's our verdict?
I'll do it.
All right, I want to see that.
Deal.
Dalton, get in here. I see you about to touch your mic.
I was like, he already lost me at Hawaiian Pizza. Like,
right? Right?
Like, right when he said, right when I heard "huh," I was like, nope, nope. Bye.
Thanks, Dalton, for my intro.
It's a polarizing topic, is it not, Dalton? That's for sure.
It's like.
All right, Alec.
Like,
well, you
like...
got to do that now. We need that content.
I'm gonna do it. There's no not me doing this anymore.
That's foul.
Neapolitan ice cream as well is like low budget ice cream right then and there.
Okay,
and
I'm sorry, I'm not so bougie as Seattle where I can get fancy ice cream.
Neapolitan ice cream is the worst because you want to eat the chocolate and then you're like, oh, it's not enough. I'll bum over to strawberry, and you're like, man, I gotta suffer through plain vanilla.
No.
And I'm the exact
strawberry
opposite.
First.
That's right.
Vanilla, chocolate.
Then chocolate.
Chocolate's last.
Chocolate is
like
last.
chocolate that much.
Yo, Dalton, help me out here. Tell me you like chocolate first.
I mean, I don't really like strawberry ice cream to begin with, so I don't usually get that ice cream.
Why did we invite Dalton to the
talk to
podcast?
the strawberry.
Yeah, thank you, Dalton, because these other people are ludicrous over here.
Chocolate.
I like how he's criticizing me for not liking strawberry ice cream, but here he's talking about Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, Alec, you don't have a leg to stand on, buddy. Like you like
it's
fruit
good.
on your pizza.
I will say
dude.
it. Pineapple belongs on pizza.
No, it does not. It's gross. Gross.
No,
it's gross. All right. Any final thoughts on episode 2 for Miss Marvel?
What I'd say is I'm just curious to see. I've been waiting for like, well, what's the opposition here? What's the bad guy, the bad organization, whatever. And so I'm interested to see what that will be, especially in the nature of how like lighthearted this show has been so far. Like I do not anticipate it being like an epic battle or things like that. I think it'll be more whimsical and on brand for what the show is about, and which I'm okay with. I'm just having to come to terms with what are these new Marvel TV shows that I'm watching and how do I identify what they're trying to tell me. And I'm still struggling with that. But I don't mind where it's going. Like I'm entertained at the end of the day, like JJ.
Nice. All right, Dalton, final thoughts. And I will make a recommendation to do like I do and wait at least a day before you watch Miss Marvel after Obi-Wan, because that's just asking for disappointment.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely luckily there's only one more week of it. So
it's fair.
After this upcoming week, it'll be or I guess this is going to air on Tuesday. So after tomorrow, for those listening, it'll be all done with. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's dragging right now, but I mean, I guess you kind of expect that with these new shows that introduce these new characters. She-Hulk will probably be the same way, despite Bruce Banner being in it. But
yeah,
I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Like you guys have mentioned, she's a fun character. I think she's going to mesh really well when we get to like the Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau. I want the record to show that I know that name more than JJ. So
well played, sir.
The one thing I know more than JJ is that it's Monica Rambeau from WandaVision going to Captain Marvel.
Dalton brings these like snippets of perfection. Like seriously, like in the last episode he was on, he's talking about people getting murked. And like this time he's like throwing me under the I love it, dude. That's awesome. I can never remember her name, Monica Rambeau, and I really can't remember her comic name, which is even dumber of me not to be able to remember it. But anyway,
yeah, I don't even know. I don't know that if that says anything. I just know Monica Rambeau. But I'm just gonna hold that over your head for now.
No, please do. Well played, sir. I'm impressed. All right, Fruit on Pizza. What's your final thoughts on Miss Marvel episode 2?
Neapolitan. I was going to say wombat,
you guys are just jealous because I understand taste. And with that taste, I still don't like Miss Marvel. But I am keeping an open mind.
Dalton just walks out.
Better. Yeah, get out of here, Dalton. And I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Dalton. No,
all part of the plan.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm all right with being proven wrong. This turns out to be the best Marvel show that's ever existed. I don't think it will be, but I'm always down to have some fun. So if they kind of keep the fun in there, and I mean, the most fun I have is when they're going off with the family. Like the family is the best part of this show, in my opinion. So I want more of that. Like I know he hasn't had a lot of screen time, but her brother, I think it's her brother.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he is so funny because he doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. Ever. Not a clue. So
the other person I want more of is the counselor. Alec, when he's on there, I'm like, you know what? The more I know about Alec, I'm like, Alec could be this counselor and just kind of like shadily roast these kids and encourage them at the same time. That might be a hidden job for you.
Counselor with kids.
But I love that counselor.
Okay, you're good with resumes, right, Mattson?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you my resume. You find me a school counselor job where I can shadily roast kids.
In interest at the bottom, we'll put likes pineapple pizza with Neapolitan ice cream.
Okay, I don't know if I like it yet. I'm going to try it, and I'm pretty sure it'll be delicious.
So intrigued by this. I had fun with this episode. I laughed so hard at the Illuminantes too. Like I can't believe I didn't talk about it, especially coming right off of Doctor Strange and the actual Illuminati, and then we have the Illuminantes. Like seriously, I had a great time with that. So yeah, I'm enjoying this show. I look forward to it. Surprisingly enough, I do wait a day to watch it after, Obi-Wan. One, because it's 2 a.m. when I'm watching Obi-Wan, and I'm not staying up any later for Miss Marvel. But the next day, I look forward to it because I just have a good time with it. Looking forward to it. So there it is. Dalton, hop back on, turn that mic on, and tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
All right, so you can find me at Dalton W. Bieber on TikTok. So if you're watching on video, it's my name right here with the W in the middle. Basically, if you haven't seen me on other episodes here, I just do call outs at my work, which I work at a fun park. I do wristband call outs and I do fun things with it. Leave me some requests if you viewers want to. Or I also did a thing where I posted I'm doing fun finishes where I do a quick snippet at the end of my call out. Leave me a suggestion, a quick sentence of what I could say. I'm gonna start filming those either next week or soon. Oh, there you go.
Right there.
Pineapple pizza.
So that's one thing I'm not gonna be saying.
No, we don't want Dalton to get fired. Okay.
Yeah.
We want him to keep his job.
Oh goodness. And Mattson, tell everybody where they can find us.
Yeah, if you want to find us, I mean, first and foremost, the easiest way is just get on your phone or your computer or just say a prayer and type in what'sourverdict.com because you'll find us. You're going to find some great content, tons of TV coming out right now. I mean, by the time this drops, we will just release Jurassic Park the day before. If you want to hear a terrible movie but a fun review, come listen to that. More Obi-Wan, as you heard us talk about. We're going to be taking care of She-Hulk. We've got Stranger Things and The Boys. The other half of the episodes will be coming out a few weeks after this as well. So really excited. Also, we're going to have Black Phone out, which is not going to be exciting for me and Alec, but we're doing it for JJ's enjoyment. And then lastly, just come check us out on TikTok. We're pushing that really hard. Alec's been really great, has some awesome trivia on movies and just other random content. You want to see him comb his hair. You want to see a tiger, stuffed tiger do cool things. I mean, check it out. Having fun there.
Definitely. All right. Well, it's been fun, gents. Dalton, as always, we appreciate you coming and joining us for the episode and proving me not the expert of Marvel that I thought I was. And her I already forgot it. I looked it up. I think her superhero name's like Prism or something like that, but it's gone already. Like that's how much I don't care about this character. Which is sad because Tiana Paris, who plays the character, is really great. It's just the character holds very little interest for me. Anyway, so with that, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!